convicted child killer, Terri-Lynne McClintic, has been moved out of a healing lodge and is back behind prison bars. CBC's Evan Dyer is tracking this breaking news. He is in Ottawa. What is the latest, Evan?
That's right, Suhanna. We learned this latest detail from none other than the father of Terri-Lynne McClintic's 8-year-old victim, Victoria Stafford. Her father, Rodney Stafford, was contacted late last night by Corrections Canada to tell him, or at least he was contacted to tell him that this transfer had occurred late last night. We spoke with him this morning. You know, the reason that we're finding out that way is because the federal government has insisted all along it can't discuss the arrangements of individual inmates for privacy reasons, and also that politicians, such as the public safety minister, don't have discretion over where they go. Those are things decided by public servants within Corrections Canada. Politicians can set the rules, the frameworks that might guide those decisions, but Ralph Goodale insisted cannot intervene, and the law prevents them from intervening to determine the outcome of individual cases. So what happened was the government went away, examined the rules, examined how the rules were applied in this case, and the Commissioner of Corrections came back with a report with some new criteria for who can be transferred to a healing lodge, criteria that clearly were going to exclude Terri-Lynne McClintic. In fact, all 4 criteria appeared to exclude her. So we're not particularly surprised to hear this. Ralph Goodale was up on the Hill this morning. We caught up with him. Let's hear what he had to say today.
We have directed certain policy changes with respect to the transfer of offenders. The Commissioner of the Correctional Service is in the process now of implementing those policy changes. Those policy changes apply to the future, but obviously also to people in the system right now. The Correctional Service does not publish, for security reasons, pretty obvious security reasons, they do not publish an inventory of what offender is in what facility. But what they do is inform the families of victims when a change is made.
And in this case, the family of the victim did inform us about the institution in question. It is the Edmonton Institution for Women, which is a facility that runs all the way up to maximum security. That will now house Terri-Lynne McClintic. She's a medium security prisoner, but unlike the Healing Lodge in Saskatchewan, which it was an open facility with no fixed perimeter, she is now back behind bars, behind a wall, in what most people would understand as a real prison.
And Evan, one could say this change in policy didn't really come easy. I mean, it follows a lot of controversy there in Ottawa. That's
right. This has been a very, very divisive topic on the Hill for about 5 or 6 weeks now. Coming up at the end of September, there was a very, very uncomfortable debate on the Hill in the last week of September, where the Conservatives read into the record a number of excerpts from the trial of Terri-Lynne McClintic, and there were some really excruciatingly awful details of this murder. That was in turn contested by the Liberals, who pointed out that there were children in the public gallery. They accused the Conservatives of being ambulance chasers or playing ambulance chasing politics. Conservatives took great offense at that, saying that they were simply trying to right a wrong, that the real offense here was Terri-Lynne McClintic being in a healing lodge. We saw that even continue to yesterday, where Andrew Scheer, the leader of the official opposition, asked the Prime Minister to apologize for having politicized the issue. The Liberals accused him of having politicized it right back, and the Greens' Elizabeth May said he qualified for the Hypocrite of the Year award. So this has caused a great deal of rancor among the parties on the Hill. Meanwhile, the father of Victoria Stafford, Rodney Stafford, throughout it has maintained a great deal of composure and class, really, and just maintained the one insistence that he wants to see this righted in the case of his daughter's killer and in the case of other people in similar situations. And we should point out that these rules apply to all women in the Canadian corrections system, not to men, because men who are under have to be already classed as minimum security offenders to qualify for open facilities. But women can, in medium security, go into open facilities, but it's going to be a lot harder in the future, it appears.
Thank you, Evan. CBC's Evan Dyer in Ottawa.